we got a lot of records this time around, and I want to be like, ooh, gotta get that thumbnail. There we go. Yeah, gotta pose for the thumbnail, because I haven't done one of these in a while. It's been a hot minute. Now, I've collected quite a few records between my last record haul and this one that I'm not going to be showcasing them because I put them in the whole record bin behind me. I was just a little impatient, and I didn't think, it was one of those, I don't really know if people want to hear that. But at the moment, I'm a little starved for video content to put up on my channel. Not to say that I am not in need of new music. Oh boy, I got a lot of new music to get through. It's just music that I'm ready to talk about. And, after the whole August of Summer Prog, where every Tuesday and Thursday I looked at a classic album, I'm a little burnt out. So I figured this is a nice little breather, a nice little as we come into the final quarter of the year within September, coming into the fall, which is my favorite season. So yeah, let's talk about some of these. It's going to be the usual kind of run over. Now, these aren't chronologically in terms of when and where I pick them up. Predominantly, I've stuck to 3 different record stores. There's Waxman here in North Bay, where I'm living. There's Cosmic Dave over in Sudbury, and the Dead Parrot Records over in Barrie, Ontario. And those 3 places have, they've supplied me quite well as online ordering. And so I've kind of shuffled them around in terms of like when I got what. Oh, and also Alley Cats in Aurelia, which is one of the best record stores I've ever been to. So, and this includes, Toronto. So if any of you Torontoites think that you have the best record stores, well, Aurelia's kind of got you beat with Alley Cats. Anyway, these are basically based on used, going into new, going into special records. So there you go. The first couple of the ones that I have are from the Waxman's Mystery Pack, so there's really no rhyme or reason about these. I've got Mendelis Holmes. This is from the Family Library of Great Music. I have one for Beethoven, which is basically the Sixth Symphony, which I love. This one actually has the big, wedding suite, the that on here, which is actually, I believe, a part of Midsummer Night's Dream. His whole symphony on that. So, yeah, there you go. This was fun. Next is one that I think my partner will be listening to a little bit more, and that is Tina Rainford. It's Silver Angel, and it's fun. It's the usual, late 70s soft rock that we both kind of enjoy from time to time. Now, this is one that I actually picked up my own self, because the other 2 records that I got from the mystery pack I donated, because I'm like, I'm never going to listen to those. We've got the soundtrack to The Great Gatsby. This is the 70s version of The Great Gatsby. It's a double album, and I love this style of music. The film itself is pretty good as well. The book is just brilliant. 1974 with Robert Redford and Mia Farrow. So there you go. I personally love this. I love that kind of music. All right, now we've got Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player by Elton John. I'm trying slowly but surely to build up my Elton John collection. This one, I believe, is a gatefold. There we go. So yeah, a used, not a repurposed or not a re-release. It's a used one. And then we've got Hooked on Swing. I think I found this one actually at a Value Village. I always go to thrift stores just to, see what they've got. And I've got now Hooked on Classics 1 and 2, Hooked on Swing, and I think the only one that I'm missing, I think there's another Hooked on. Anyway, I love when they repurpose, the classics like this. Very fun. All right, getting into more prog stuff, because I know that's what people are here for. And first up, we have Anthony Phillips with Sides. And it's a very appropriate name. The first side is fine, not a big fan of it. It's the second side of this album that I thoroughly love. Really love that one. And yeah, I love Anthony Phillips. I've got about a handful of his records, so I'm always on the lookout for more of his. And yeah, so there's Anthony Phillips' side. The next couple are completions. So now I finally completed, or at least as much as I can, certain collections. And the first one being King Crimson. I finally have Earthbound. I've been looking for Earthbound for a while now. I always kind of consider it kind of like an EP because it's, a couple of live songs and a few audio or studio tracks with 21st Century Schizoid Man, being a live record, The Sailor's Tale, and then Earthbound and Groon. Great stuff. So now, outside of, I think, live in Toronto, I have all their stuff. At least on record. Like, I mean, there's a lot, endless supply of fan stuff that they've put out that I won't have. But yeah, at least I have this one, and, you know, if I ever find live in Toronto, I'll pick it up. And now I also have a completed collection of Gentle Giant, and I actually have it kind of twice. The first being, I already had this record, Acquiring the Taste, but I had it in the re-release. I had the like 2017 or 2018 version, and it's great. Like, this is one of my favorite Gentle Giant records, but this is the original pressing from 1967? That can't be right. I think that's when this was that record studio. Let's see here, 1971. That's a little bit better. So yeah, finally have Acquiring the Taste, and it folds out like so, where the peach is there. So loved it. And I actually have a full collection of Gentle Giant, because I was just missing the missing piece. Yeah, my least favorite Gentle Giant record. I wasn't, running out to grab it, but I figured, with the Acquiring the Taste now completing the original set of my favorite records, I might as well complete the whole series, and now I have the missing piece. So my Gentle Giant collection is finally completed. I have everything from their first one all the way to Civilian. So, woo! And this past, August, I was doing some classic records, and one of the classic records I did was a Vandergraaf generator. And as you guys know, I'm always kind of spotty with Vandergraaf generator. I was just not in a very good place when I was really, really getting into them. And so now I'm starting to let myself get back into them and starting to, test the waters. And I finally picked up one of their more well-known ones, H to He, Who Am the Only One. This was kind of the one that really, put them on the map in terms of progressive rock, really early on in the scene, with the big track of Killer. I think this one was 1970. Yeah, so really early on in the prog sphere. I actually like the subsequent albums that they put out. I obviously God Bluff and Pawn Hearts. Pawn Hearts was the one that I ended up doing. This is also one of the few ones I'm actually going to keep in the sleeve, because I don't keep a whole lot of records in the sleeves. So there you go, more Vandergraaf generator. Now I also have one of my favorite drummer, Bill Bruford. I finally got his One of a Kind. I have his Feel Good to Me record already in there, but now I have One of a Kind. Brilliant and beautiful compositions of jazz fusion with progressive rock tendencies on it. Love his work. Love his work. This is one of the best records that you're going to find. In 1979, so when a lot of their bands were kind of going off and getting more and more into the pop sphere, Bill Bruford was like, nah, I'm going to stay true to my roots. All right, another one that I'm trying my best to collect as many as I can, but it's a little harder across the pond here, and that's Camel. And I finally have their Nude album. And another thing about Camel that's a little hard is they don't have all their records on streaming services. So I've been dragging my feet doing a Camel Worst Best, mainly because I can't find their records, So I've been slowly getting my way through a Camel Worst to Best video. I hope to do one eventually in the future, but, with their albums a little bit harder to find, it's kind of hard to do that. And Nude is a little hit and miss for me. There are some tracks on here that I love, some tracks on here that I'm less than stellar about. Pretty much anything after Moon Madness are a little bit hit and miss for me. I know a lot of people love Rain Dance, but I'm just like, it's fine. Anyway, moving on to other ones that are fine. I'm also trying to complete my Rush collection. So I got two studio records, Grace Under Pressure. I'm not a big fan of this one, but there are some things that I really do like about this. This was when they were really into their synthwave stuff, with Distant Early Warnings being the big track on here. I also love Red Sector A and The Enemy Within. And Kid Gloves is fine. But yeah, it's not my favorite, but again, I'm trying to collect as many as I can. And, as I'm maturing, as I'm getting into it, the album is presenting itself a little bit more favorably. And the same can still be said about Rush Power Windows. This is probably my favorite of theirs in terms of their whole synthwave stuff, starting with Signals, going all the way to this guy here. And yeah, love Power Windows, Big Money and Marathon are my favorite tracks on here, but it also has, the Manhattan Project and Emotions Detector. Really great stuff. Really, really fun stuff. And I also picked up a live record from them, their first live record, actually, All the World's a Stage. This was the one that they put out after they put out 2112. So they have the entire 2112 on here, but they also have some really good, deep cuts on here, like By Tor and the Snow Dog. Let's see here, Anthem is the big one, but they also have some of their, tracks that put them on the map, like Fly By Night and Lakeside Park and Working Man. So yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, moving away from prog and more into the jazz fusion, because I've been really diving deep into the jazz fusion stuff lately. I got a couple from Chick Corea. The first one here being The Leprechaun. Man, I love this track. I love how, whimsical this one is, how impressionistic it is. Really been digging this one. Having a lot of fun with this one. As well as, this is kind of a collection of his. I saw it for like a couple bucks and I figured, I might as well. And it looks like it's a double record and it's just kind of like a best of, and it's got some really good stuff. But it also looks like there's like this whole catalog of all these artists that have been put on this Time When collection. And you're dealing with some good stuff when you have, Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, Bob Marley, Ray Charles, Billie Holiday, Stevie Wonder, just some great collections on here. And so I figured I'd pick up Chick's. And a working mate from Chick that he would collaborate with, Return to Forever. I picked up another Stanley Clarke. This one's with Stan Clarke, Children of Forever. This is a pretty early one of his, 1972, I believe this one was. So a pretty early one from Stanley. Really, really like this one. It's got a lot of really fun pieces on it, fun stuff on it. And yeah, I've been slowly building up my Stanley Clarke's collection. As I was actually introduced to him earlier this summer, so getting into that. And finally, we've got, this is a brand new, it's new to me, and it is a new pressing of a Herbie Hancock record. This is Direct Steps, and actually this is whatchamacallit? There we go. There's the inside. This was a Japanese pressing because it came with a Japanese little slit here that kind of went horizontal or vertically. And I believe, there it is. Here we go. It wants to come on out. All the lyrics, I believe, in Japanese there, because it's a Japanese pressing. Love this one. Love this one. There's a lot of callbacks, or I guess you can see where a lot of Daft Punk would have gotten a lot of their ideas from. And this one was, let's see here, where's the date of this one? Boop-a-doo. Give me a date. I know it's in the 70s somewhere, but it's not giving me a date. Here we go. 1978. It's actually recorded in Tokyo too, so that's actually really cool that it was kind of done that way. Anyway, love this one. If you can find it, pick it up. Okay, now we're coming into the newer records. And the first one was I Am the Morning, The Bell. Again, both my partner and I love I Am the Morning. Love the two artists on here of Marianne Semkina and Gleb Kolidin. One of these days I'll get those right. But Gleb and Mariana is just, they're gorgeous playing together. If you want some really soothing, really beautiful works, you can't go wrong with this one. The Bell is probably my favorite. Very close to The Lighthouse. I love both of those records. Now I got a couple of Murder by Death records because I sponsored Murder by Death on their Kickstarter for their latest one of Spellbound. So I got it in the physical format, which I'm really excited about. Great record of theirs. I haven't actually creased the seal yet. It's still in its original packaging. You can see the shine on there with my, ring light there. And while I was there, they said, hey, you donated enough. How about picking up a couple other albums? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I picked up their first one, like The Exorcist, but with more breakdancing, their first record. Again, I haven't actually dived into this. You can see where I need to take off the wrapping for. I haven't listened to it quite yet. And I also picked up their Christmas record that they put out a couple years ago. This is the Lonesome Holiday. So I'm really excited to kind of dive into this one. Again, I haven't cracked the seal, but I will once Christmas comes around. Okay, the next three I'm kind of going to do all at once because these are... I hesitate to use cover But essentially, they're all Pink Floyd albums, but they're all done by different artists. So I have Dark Side of the Moon, I have Wish You Were Here, and I have Animals. So all three are basically the album from front to back, but they're all done by different artists. Like each song has different artists doing all the different things. So if you can see there, they kind of outline the different artists that are on each one. And part of the thing that I love about it is their interpretation of it. And there's some really big prog individuals on here. Like on Money, you have Bill Bruford. On Time, you have Alan White. Great Gig in the Sky, you have Rick Wakeman. So obviously lots of Yes folks. But you also have a number of individuals, that kind of range the gamut. You have John Wetton on Us and Them, which is just beautiful. Billy Sherwood on Any Color You Like. Peter Banks on Eclipse. So Dark Side of the Moon. And then, again, you kind of have like the usual individuals on here, and it will kind of like showcase. And unfortunately, on the inside of Wish You Were Here, you don't have, the individuals on it. You just have more of the artwork from kind of like reinterpretations of the artwork. So I have to actually use the liner sleeve here to find out who's on what. But yeah, Steve Hackett on Shining You Crazy Diamonds. Rick Wakeman back again for Welcome to the Machine. James LeBray on Have a Cigar. Joe Satriani on Wish You Were Here. And yeah. So like I said, lots of different individuals coming on to help out with all of these. And each one is a real delight, For Animals, you got Animals Reimagined on here. Really dig the cover art on this one, actually. All the pigs on here. So yeah, on Dogs, you have Jordan Rudess. On Pigs, Three of a Kind, James LeBray is back, as well as Patrick Moraz. On Sheep, you have Rick Wakeman coming back, and Billy Sherwood on Pigs on the Wing Part 2. So yeah, just like a good smattering of individuals to come and help fill it out. All right, coming down to the last two. This was one that I ordered from the specific website. This is Arjun Anthony Lucason's Lost in the New Reel. This is one of my favorite projects from Arjun. And you would know him from Arion or The Gentle Storm or Star One or One Star, whichever one it was that he came out with earlier this year. And actually you have Rutger Hauser as Dr. Voinkopf. There's definitely allusions there. But it's just gorgeous. The first album is the whole concept of the new reel, basically like this artificial intelligence coming through and experiencing reality and, what the future holds. It's very sci-fi in that sense. And then the second one is like kind of smatterings of reinterpretations / covers of, classic songs, and it is very much like a new reel. Like it's not necessarily straight up covers, but they're all kind of like reimaginings. Really, really fun stuff. Definitely the first album is the stronger one, but I still love the second album. So yeah, it's a true double album in that sense. And the final one is one that I've talked about twice already this past month, back in August, and that is Galasphere 347. I talked about this on the One and Done, as well as being on my my masterpiece, and this is an absolute masterpiece. So when I saw that they had it available on record, I had to run to get it. This is if you haven't heard it already, please do. It's more than just retro prog, because I always say, oh yeah, it's kind of retro prog, but it really is more than just retro prog, because they really do reinterpret a lot of what the retro prog was doing in the latter half of the 2010s. It's big, it's bombastic, it's huge, it's symphonic, but at the same time, it's just so moving, and I can't help but love it. So if you haven't heard this one already, go ahead and do so. When I saw it on record, I had to get it. And that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you had some fun looking at some of the records that I've picked up over the past couple of months. And now I am on a strict no-buy. I cannot buy a single thing until Christmas. So we're going to see how long or if I last. But I'm pretty confident that I can make it all the way to Christmas without buying anything. I've already actually started a spreadsheet of all the records that I want to get after my no-buy ban is listed or lifted. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's it for me today. I got a new kind of series coming out on Friday, and I'm really excited. It's going to take up like the next 5 Fridays, and I'm planning to kind of continue on this like special Fridays where I don't do necessarily like an album review, but I still talk about music in general. So I'm going to be doing that kind of moving forward, and I'm working on a pretty lengthy album series, or sorry, music series. And, you know, I'm working on that. I'm kind of keeping it a little bit close to my chest, but it's going to take up about 4 or 5 videos, and I'm really excited about that. So about 5 videos for this one series, and then another 5 videos for this other series. And hopefully I'll come up with another kind of series to keep this Friday momentum going, because, you know, I kind of like doing this. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.